I feel like we're off right now. I feel like we need to like click into it or something.
Okay, ready? Click into it.
No, let me hear you click into it.
Heritage.
Heritage?
That's what I thought of when we did that.
It's not heritage. It's hereditary.
Hereditary. I sound like I'm clipping out now. Do I sound like that on your thing?
You just sound loud. That's all. Stop. Why the fuck are you hitting the microphone?
Shut the fuck up. I'm fixing this.
That did nothing.
Testing.
You guys are both fine.
This is not a situation where you smack something to fix it.
Only with that booty.
So I bought cargo pants the other day, and I was trying them on, and I've never worn cargo pants before. I never had the
That's
urge.
a lie.
Yeah, I wore them back in elementary because that was like the style.
Why was that ever the style?
Cargo pants,
I don't know.
baggy bright t-shirts.
Yep.
It was always too much going on the shirt, and there's always a dragon involved.
I used to love my zip off shorts, pants into shorts.
Now those were
those are cool.
Those are cool.
Those are functional.
Those are so functional, and
But
they don't
so
make
are
them like those.
cargo pants,
They are.
shorts, cargo shorts.
They are.
Yeah, I just feel like cargo shorts look dorky, but with the pants, it makes sense. You know what I mean?
No.
No. Why would having a zipper in the middle of your pant make it better?
I just feel like having the option is what's interesting to me. You know, I like having an option. So if I'm hot, I could take it off and have shorts. But if it gets cold again at night, just zip it back up. You know. But zipping back up those shorts was impossible to do without your mom there, as I also learned. Did you ever have problems zipping it back up?
Nope.
God, I could not understand the concept of a zipper for to save my fucking life.
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense.
How
to
many
me.
zippers do you think Dad busted just like from our jackets growing up?
Okay, that was a thing, right? Yeah, I remember.
We would always go and get a jacket, and somehow we would get we'd go to put it on, and the zipper would just get stuck or something. And the amount of times that Dad's been he grabs a hold of it and he's lifting it up as I'm looking down, and then he finally either A, gets it, or his hand slips and he either smacks me in the face or I have to dodge his hand or something.
Yeah.
Happened all the time. He'd bust all my zippers on my jackets.
He just thought brute force was the answer for the zippers, and every time it just wasn't the answer.
Yeah, he also used to smack everything to try and get it to work.
Most of the time it did.
Is that where you got it from?
I feel like it's just a family trait.
It's hereditary.
I feel like I can hear things, like clipping in my ears.
No, it's not that. You're just hearing the future. David, roll that intro.
I'm Drumm. And I'm Drummer.
That shit slaps. Bangers.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Week 99.
Week 99, guys. That's 9 plus 9, 18. Ooh, plus 40. 58 plus 2, 60. Plus 30, 90. Plus 8, 98. Plus 1, 99.
And as always, we're your hosts. I'm Drumm.
And I'm Drummer.
And this is a podcast about brotherhood and the 3 S's: snakes,
stupidity,
and skeletons. Spooky skeletons.
Stupidity is a spooky S.
It could be a spooky trait.
Why?
Because sometimes you get amazed. You're like, man, that person is walking around doing things on the daily. And you're worried about that person because sometimes they just don't know what's going on. So you can be worried about them, which can also lead to being scared for them, which can then lead to fear, to hate, to suffering, and then to the dark side. So
Okay, nice.
And then it's October all over again.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? What do you think about that, Matt?
I think you went down a very dark path there very quickly. But
It's spooky season, baby. Welcome back to Spooktober, everybody.
Spooktober. Dude, before we jump into anything too spooky, how's your week?
Week was good, man. Week has been busy. There's always a lot going on during the day, but my meditations have been keeping me in line and staying divine. You know what I mean? So that's been awesome. Yeah, I mean, work's chilling. I'm chilling. I'm finally working out again. I hurt my back a little bit a week or two ago. So doing fine now, at least. But yeah, it's been good. How about your week?
Week's been good. I'm exhausted.
Do you have any Halloween-themed events you're going to?
Halloween-themed events? No.
What constitutes as a Halloween themed event?
Like a Halloween party or something.
Like
Not like pumpkin patches or pumpkin carvings or.
See, pumpkin patches are different. I don't understand the point of pumpkin patches just because it's not like, I don't know, like farms, like pumpkin farms and stuff. Like it's just, I don't know, just fucking go buy it at the grocery store and then carve it. I feel like carving's the fun part of the pumpkin patch thing. Like the pumpkin patch to me is just going to look at a pumpkin. But when I get to cut into it, that's when I start to actually have fun, you know? But it's not saying it's like a bad thing to do. Like, go do it. It's something everyone should, you know, experience. But does it have to happen all the time? No.
I don't know if I've ever been to a pumpkin patch.
Good, man.
Have you? Yeah, you went.
Multiple times.
I've been to one. Yeah. Been to a couple.
I mean, they're not bad.
They have stuff you can do
there's
there.
more stuff to do there, which is fun.
See, I feel like I had to have gone at least once when I was younger.
No, we never.
They weren't as big, I don't think.
We didn't go to pumpkin patches when we were younger.
They weren't as mainstream when we were younger.
Yeah. See, I feel like I should take Monique. I feel like she'd like to go do that. I don't know what a pumpkin patch entails, but
just go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. Hey, Monique, when you listen to this, I'll be bringing up a pumpkin patch pretty soon. Yeah, no, my week's been good. I'm super tired. It's been crazy couple of days. Just a lot going on. But this weekend, me and Monique got to go and celebrate our friend Chucky's wedding.
Wedding season.
Congrats, Chucky.
Charles and Liana. Congratulations, you guys.
Mr. and Mrs. Ortega.
It was so much fun. It was beautiful. It was at the Empire Polo Club, which is where they have Coachella.
It was the actual place where they have Coachella.
Yeah.
Not just the area.
No.
That's cool.
The
That's
literal
really
spot.
cool.
Like, just a giant, massive, like, where the spot on the property that they rented was super beautiful, and then where the ceremony was, like right behind you were these fountains, and then like this like huge like grass area. So yeah, got to see that. Had some good food, amazing speeches, and then the whole night just was dancing. It was so much fun. So much fun.
No Mexican candy shots this time.
No, I was on my best behavior. No Mexican candy shots. They
Party Matt didn't arrive.
They had beer and wine, so I just basically had a beer all night, which beer makes me full, so I can't drink it that
They
fast.
didn't have that many seltzers or anything like that?
No, they when it was cocktail hour, they had cocktails, so they had Mai Tais and they had Lucky Ritas, because the hashtag for their wedding was hashtag Lucky or Lucky Fest or something like that. So both of them were super good, and I got to have lamb for the first time.
That's what they serve?
That for the hors d'oeuvres, they had lamb and they had some other stuff, but the lady could just tell that I would enjoy a nice piece of lamb. So she walked over, and like every time she'd come out, she'd like come over to me and I'd eat it. It was so good. Yeah, and then we danced, and it was cool because they had a band and a DJ. So when the DJ came on, right, everybody starts dancing to the music and stuff. And I walk to go get another beer, and I turn around and I see Brad standing on the dance floor with everybody, and he's kind of like dancing. And they had these 4 like boxes by the dance floor, and the DJ pushes this button, and all of a sudden these freaking like flames shoot out of the boxes. But it was like a sparklers, but like a lot of them, right? It's like pfft. And you just see Brad like turn around. You see people all scared because they weren't expecting it. They're like patting their hair to make sure they're not on fire.
They're like, where are we?
It was so funny. But yes, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun night. A lot of fun dancing with everybody that night. And then we went back to the hotel room, and me, John, Melissa, Seth, Chelsea, and Brad and Monique all piled into one room and knocked out. Me, John, and Brad ended up at this McDonald's drive-thru for literally like an hour.
Because everyone was going to that McDonald's.
No, they only accepted cash, and they didn't tell you that till you placed your order. Like, you waited in line, then you came around, then you got to the place to order the food, and so then you order, and they go, oh, yeah, we're only accepting cash. And I was like, well, luckily John had cash, but if we didn't, then I would have to sat in that line to get out and then not have
What a
food.
bunch of assholes.
It was annoying. It was frustrating. But
Sounds like someplace near here.
Or Taco Bell.
yeah,
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell's trash, dude.
Taco Bell's trash.
So bad. But the wedding was absolutely beautiful. So much fun.
Congrats, guys.
Liana, thank you for inviting Monique and I. We had a lot of fun. So what about you, Cheese? How was your week?
This whole month is just shows, dog.
Yeah? Is it
Just
getting
shows
better
on
or
shows on
worse?
shows. It actually is getting a lot better. It feels like the show is evolving. So the show that you guys will see next week is not the show that we opened with 4 weeks ago.
Are you getting exhausted
No,
a little bit?
No, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
I just imagine like the director's just pissed off because you and the actors are like, it's evolving because you guys are just changing the show. You're just like rewriting.
Here's
your
how
own
we're going to
script.
make this better this time.
Oh, cool. Monique and I and Ernesto and Kristen will be going
And
on
Dalton,
Saturday.
but-
And Annalise and Mitch, if you guys, I know Mitch will listen to this. You guys will be going to the 8 o'clock showing, and I'll be going to the 2 because I didn't know there was 2 separate showings. My bad, but maybe we'll.
I'm sure there's still time to switch them if they really want to.
Yeah, I'll let them know. That's true. We'll see. But yeah. So
All right. Can we talk about our creepy event of the week now?
Yeah, you can. Let's get into your creepy event of the week.
All
Oh,
right.
do you have your? Oh, that's right. We're gonna focus on me here. Okay.
We're doing both.
Yes.
What's wrong?
Nothing. Go for it.
Our creepy event of the week was a psychic reading.
So you want to go into detail about like how it was supposed to go and how
So-
it ended up going?
Our ideal scenario was we go to an actual psychic and we pay them like $15-$20 to give us whatever kind of reading they wanted. And then we come back here and talk about our experience. Instead, we couldn't make that happen. So we did an online psychic reading, which honestly came out to be a little bit better than expected. It was way more funny than we were expecting. And some of the shit was kind of like a little nerve wracking. I did a soulmate one,
Soulmate specialist.
soulmate specialist, and that was interesting to say the least. You give her 1 star.
I'm about to, bro. She's so bad.
And like there was, and what's the best part about this is if you guys want to go and do an online psychic reading, it's super awesome. Go to my what is it called?
Mystic sense.
Mystic Sense.
What were you gonna
He's
say?
about to say my stick sense.
Mystic Sense. I was like, wait, that didn't make sense. MysticSense.com, and you can pay like $20 for like a 10-minute reading.
You pay these people by the minute.
By
And they
the
take their
minute.
fucking time to answer you so they can milk you for all the money you got.
Now I will say there is a phone option, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But who's to say they're not going to be like, all right, give me a second.
Exactly. They need to listen. Like, all right,
Okay,
I need at least
this is what I
$5
got.
for this to be worth my time.
Yeah, it was cool. At least for my reading, it was like she went straight to the point. I didn't feel like there was any like point where she was like researching me, like there wasn't enough time.
She wasn't looking up Drum and Drummer.
Yeah, like wasn't looking at like all my personal issues, So she said a few things that were very like frustrating to hear. So we'll see what happens within the next few months.
Well, what was your thought process? What was your expectation going into it?
My expectation going into it was the curiosity of wondering if they were going to say anything specific, because if they can for the most part, it was fairly broad. Like I told you guys about it, it was fairly broad. But there was like 1 or 2 things that she said that I was like, oh, that's interesting. But then again, I'm like, it's online. I was still skeptical, but the experience of it was cool because it's just you're getting all these things that you could be about you. But I just don't know how much I can trust the online process.
Why?
It just feels like, I don't know, it's for like an energy type of reading where you need to like pick up off of them and kind of like let them flow through you a little bit. I feel like that's so nearly impossible, at least the way I think about it, for that to work. Like if I want to like read somebody energetically, like I need to like feel you. I need to be there and like with you in the same place. You know what I mean? Like that just makes sense to me. But maybe they're just super strong and it's just like whatever. I don't know. But my experience is fairly boring compared to Matthew's. Matthew's experience is way
boring
more fun.
because it worked.
It worked.
It
because
didn't
you have
work.
To go with fucking clairvoyant
Why
candy
didn't it
bar.
work?
We don't know if it worked yet. We'll see if it worked.
It was smooth. It was
Yeah,
to be expected.
it was a smooth experience.
So for those of you that haven't done this, let me explain the process. You type in Mystic Sense. I almost said Mystic Sense again. MysticSense.com.
I'm gonna say, do you want to give them free advertising?
Yeah, man.
Sure.
Get your
And then
fucking
you go
shit
on
read.
and you make an account, and they have a list of all these people that are either A, online, or B, will get a notification and jump online if you select them. They have ratings, reviews, and they all have some of them have a specialty. Some specialize in clairvoyance. Some specialize in relationships. Some specialize in divorce and breakups. Some specialize in lifestyle, financials. Some specialize in spirituality and psychic abilities,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So they have all this stuff. And they
Jesus.
have their pictures. And you go
Babe,
through and you
every
look at the
single one of them.
reviews and I was like, hey, I don't want to, just read me the names. And one of the first names that Dalton said that stuck out to me was Clairvoyant Candy Bar.
And I didn't say it as in like, hey, Matt, look at Clairvoyant Candy Bar. I went, who the fuck is Clairvoyant Candy Bar?
And it stuck out to me. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I go through and you have to basically load up your account with money in order to pay for this fucking thing. So I decided it was between Clairvoyant Candy Bar and like Psychic John or something like
Psychic
that.
John, yeah.
So I decided to go with Clairvoyant Candy Bar. Honestly, because her picture, she looks like somebody that's seen a thing or two in the spiritual world. So I'm going to read you guys my exact messages, the way that they are written. So she starts out and she says, Hui, with H-U-I. Then I say, hello. She says, how are you? Spelt how, H-O-W, the letter R, U, with a closed bracket after the U for
You guys
some
know
reason.
anything about Matthew? He hates single-lettered
I do.
words.
It bugs the hell out of me. Then I say, great. Thank you for asking. Thinking she's going to start asking me questions to get information. Then she says, what are your questions? So then I'm sitting here thinking out loud, like, what do I ask? David turns around and says, ask what will happen when your Saturn returns for you. And I said, what? And David says, say, what will happen when your Saturn returns for me? So I say, what will happen when your Saturn returns for me? Which I believe is referring to something going on in outer space with Saturn and astrology and all that stuff. So then she comes back with, can you rephrase that? So then I decided to just scratch all that and go for something that I know am interested in. So then I said, what will my financial and career status look like within the next year? Then she says, Feedle, F-E-E-D-L, new job by January. Or promotions. All right? So, in what industry? She said, sea office management. I said, okay, thanks. And I hung up because that was not worth it at all. So $10 later, I decided that I was over this. And Dalton and David are kind enough to coerce me into refilling my account and giving it another go.
Not sponsored.
So this is my second one, which was a much better experience. So I started going through and I was like, all right, Clairvoyant Candy Bar did not do the trick. So I decided to go with Citrine. Right? And so she is someone that her specialty was psychic abilities and stuff like that. So I was going to base all of it off of that, right? So she says, hey, how are you? How can I help you? All spelt out perfectly with great punctuation. So we're already off to a better start. So I said, hi, I'm doing good. I'm wondering about my connection to the spiritual world. She says, what exactly are you interested in? What is your current spiritual practice? And have you already been working on the connection? If yes, in which way? And then I said, I've always felt connected ever since I was young and have had some spiritual experiences, but I'm wondering if I have any spiritual powers, if that's the right way to ask that. I meditate and I've been working on the connection. She says, all right, that's fine to ask. No worries. Let me open a reading with the cards and see what they advise you to. And I said, all right, thank you. So then she goes away for a little bit. I believe that this person was working with some cards. So I was like, I'll gladly pay for this time.
Was legitimately sitting at their table.
I do believe
flipping
it.
the cards for you.
So how long was this? It only took her 2 minutes. So I'll gladly pay 2 minutes, right? So she says, so the first thing, we all have spiritual powers, knowledge, and of our ancestors as well. Thousands and thousands of years old. It's up to us to have discipline, practice, and dedication to unlock this potential. What the cards say for you is to fully let go and let your light shine in all aspects of your life, not just spiritual. You are about to find out some new revelations, but it is vital that you uncover them in proper, energy-clean space. If you already have a specific place where you meditate, it's good to improve in this period in some way. Add some new things. What kind of spiritual things do you work with? Also, finding a patron, deity, goddess, god, or a spiritual nature,
Spirit of nature.
spirit of nature is advised. Some spirit to guide you further. So I said, I have crystals that I meditate with. I've always been nervous to meet my spirit guides. Can you advise on who/what they are and how to meet them? Then she says, only you can access your guides, and you should only trust your intuition on that, or if it's from another person, to be someone who has worked for years spiritually. You can make a little altar for your ancestors, call to your ancestors who were in spirituality, who walk the same path. Ask so that they hear you all the way to the faraway stars. Your intention and focus must be clear and direct, and then loose. Wait, look, listen for signs, trust your gut, your first thought, and your intuition. If you aren't already, journaling is highly advised. Then she says you can dedicate a certain crystal for them. Also, one of the deities related to magic, witchcraft, spiritual practices would be best to guide you. Are you drawn to some cultures? And I said, I've always been drawn to Buddhism and Indian culture. But then my account ran out of money, so we kind of stopped the conversation there. And at that point, I wasn't down to refill and to discover this more. But this one was a much better experience than fucking clairvoyant candy bar.
I feel like it started very broad, and then it slowly kind of narrowed itself down. Yeah. But that's interesting.
It still wasn't as specific as yours, Dalton.
No, mine was very, very specific.
Like they were like explaining the process of being spiritual to you rather than like
telling you how spiritual you are.
It specifically was going to connect with you.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I feel like would you do this again, Matt?
Not online. I think I'd rather do it in person.
Yeah, I would do this. I would do this again, but in person.
Do you think this would hit harder if it was in person?
I think it'd be a lot harder to hide my facial expressions.
So like when they call out something that's correct,
I'm gonna be like,
oh, you mean when they're telling you
like
stuff
what they were
you don't
telling
want
me
to hear?
That one, I was like doing that. You know, for people listening, I was making a gross face right now, but it's interesting.
What?
How do you think it'd be different being in person?
Well, one, you can sense their energy and like their vibe, and they can definitely pick up on that with you. And then two, it's like, you know, you get to see them, like what cards fall out, and you can normally, if you've never done like a tarot card reading, like they'll have it and they'll ask you, you know, is a card drawing to you? And normally, like randomly, you've been staring at one since they pulled them out.
Yeah.
So you'll point it out. You know what I mean? So I feel like you missed out on that aspect of it. A lot of what the second lady was saying like does resonate with me, just like thoughts that I've been having or things I've been feeling. So I wouldn't say it's like it's broad in nature, yes, but I think that's just where I'm at right now with that. But I just think you get more of a personal touch in person, and yeah, like this, anybody who's skeptical or doesn't, you know, necessarily believe it, like, yeah, they just, you're giving them more to go off of to lie to you. You might be true, but you know.
Either way, I feel like it brings clarity. Sometimes you need to hear it from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are on a very basic path, and they can call it that basic path, but you hear and see it from somebody else, it changes your perspective. So
if it helps, it helps. It's like the placebo effect. Like people are like, "Oh, that's just placebo." Like it helps me not hurt, so I'm all for it. Like,
yeah,
go for it.
everyone chill the fuck out. It's just something to do. Not gonna kill you.
You already preemptively shutting down
Yeah.
people who are being skeptical of this
course.
segment.
I mean, they could be as skeptical as they want. I just don't want to hear it. Don't fucking talk to me about it. I mean, I like me and Matt growing up, we were always scared of that stuff. Like we were supposed to be like, that was like the devil's shit. Like we were not
Scared
supposed
of
to look at
psychic readings.
Yeah, like
I think
anything in that nature.
I think there's a difference between. Okay, hold on. Why? I feel like there's a difference between psychic readings.
David's the only person who will stop you mid sentence when you're about to explain something and then ask you to explain it.
Wait,
Hold
hold on.
That sounded
Why?
like the end of it. I feel like there's a difference between psychic readings and like Ouija boards and ritual summonings and stuff like that.
I mean, we're not calling out demons, but like it's just there's so much like unknown out there that we're always gonna have in our lives, and that's a given. But if there's a way we can figure out just a little bit of it, it helps us kind of bring more comfort to where we are. And I think that's, if people need that, they need it. It's not in anybody's place to judge them for it.
But why were you so scared of psychic readings when you were younger?
Our parents just related it to the devil. We don't want to go to hell. It's pretty much the basics of it. If you believed in that stuff, or you looked at that stuff, or you were around that stuff, you were going to hell. Mom's not gonna like that, but it's fairly true.
But isn't like psychic readings somewhat similar to like the prophets being able to see beyond? Or
Depends who you ask.
Ask the right people.
I think the difference is that a lot of times like psychic readings are it's like, for whatever reason, there's a difference between psychics and prophets. Prophets, it's God showing them something. But for psychics, it's some evil entity that is twisting things around in order to, to tell you what you want to hear, but it's not actually the truth. Mm-hmm. Looking at it now, like not necessarily, being in the church anymore, like it seems obscure. It seems weird to like, there's not really that big of a difference. But when you're in it and you're, you see, and these prophets are people that have a direct connection to God, and they're speaking to God, and they can hear God's voice, and they're saying exactly what he's saying. When you're in the church and like that's what you're hearing and practicing, there becomes a huge distinction from the source of the knowledge, as opposed to when you're on the outside looking in and you kind of are just like everything is all one. That distinction necessarily, it kind of goes away, right? But that's really the biggest difference. And then too, I think too, like growing up, like, anytime there was a psychic in like a movie, it was portrayed as this crazy witch lady that had all these strings attached to hell, and she's the closest thing to Satan you could find. So I think that didn't help matters at all either. Not saying that that's not true for some people. I just don't think that it's necessarily every single person out there.
Can we just talk about how cool those tarot cards are, though?
Like the art,
dude. They're beautiful, man. They have some cool ass tarot cards, and I know I'll come across them when I'm on like TikTok and stuff. And sometimes I've seen one with like a Rick and Morty like tarot card reading, and then they had like a Star Wars tarot card one, and I was like, these are dope, man. So I always love them. I like the artwork. I don't take everything they say. I take it all with a grain of salt because again, it's all online. I don't really trust that, but it is interesting to see what they can come up with and how they read it.
So you've done a tarot card reading online?
No, I watch them on TikToks.
Oh,
yeah, they do them on TikToks,
so
and they go.
Someone will
just do a reading.
Will comment like, "Hey, ask, can you do a reading based on this or whatever?"
I felt the need to make this video for somebody who is in the need to hear this. If this is on your For You page, it's meant for you.
Oh, okay.
And they do a whole reading, and it's fucking up the spiritual community because everyone's pissed. They're like, don't trust that. Anything they do not trust. Go in person. Do not take what they're saying. Don't go and actually do it.
That's such like a channelless kind of like reading.
It's weird.
I feel like, yeah, if the reading's supposed to be for one specific person on one specific thing, and then now you're just opening it up for everyone.
Yeah.
Not really helping their case too much. You know what I mean?
Do you have one of those videos? Do you want to watch one of them right now?
I have a shit ton of them, but I don't have they pop up on my For You page like once a day or so.
Oh, but you haven't liked any of them or saved any of them.
Not really. But
And was this your first psychic reading ever?
yeah.
Ever?
Yeah.
Matt?
Yes, by a psychic. Yes. So this goes back to that conversation earlier where we talked about okay. So I've had times where I've been at church or I've been at school or I went to Christian university. There's times where I've been walking around and somebody will come up and say something for me, very personal, directly to me. And they'll just be like, hey, God wanted me to tell you this. And I've had that happen quite a bit. So if where I'm at now where we're just lumping it all together, then yes. But I've never walked into Voodoo Mama Juju's house to sit down and
You should go to her house, dude.
have her sit down and do a reading or anything. But
She makes good brownies.
Dude, she's the best.
but yeah. So my first one by somebody that called.
So that was
themselves a
your
psychic.
first willing reading.
I wouldn't even say that. Just my first reading from somebody who claims to be a psychic.
Is it fun? Yes. Do it if you want. Don't do it if you don't.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Take it with a grain of salt. It is online. But if you can go in person, I would say take that.
And then also take that with a grain of salt.
Take that with a grain of salt if you want.
Salt for everyone.
Yeah. I'd say seeing it online with you two was harder for me to fully just live in that moment. Also probably because I wasn't the one doing it.
You should have. I don't know why you didn't.
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't.
Well, because it's your guys' thing.
It's our
You're
podcast.
here every week with us. I thought we
produce-
got past
He
this on
doesn't-
the first fucking week.
It's been we're at episode
at
99,
99, and you're
he can't
still
fucking get
you're
it.
still unsure
You
if you're
don't
part of the
fucking understand?
podcast.
You got a problem?
Yes.
Yes.
I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but the podcast ain't one.
Oh,
You know what? You're
shit.
right. Fucking week 100, guys. We'll be having a new.
fuck,
we're
dude.
taking a fucking break
He
after
fucking
that.
blew us out the water on that shit. I forget how heavy this thing is sometimes, and I just throw it and just pop.
Wouldn't
pop
it be the
it.
opposite? You forget how light it is.
Well, I feel like since it feels heavy, so I toss it more.
So you put more force into your movements.
Yes.
It feels heavy, but it actually is light.
Yes. Okay. Yes. What topic are we doing?
And we're back. All right.
Hold on.
Does Rachel still listen to the podcast? No.
She's just behind.
She's. Oh, okay.
Just like everyone else.
Oh my. Hey, you know who does? John. When we were in the McDonald's
he
drive-thru for
told
an
me.
hour, he showed me. He made me look and see every single one.
Oh, he showed you the receipts?
Uh-huh. He goes, look, I really listen to these, bro.
He told me
He's going through.
he started back up after the bachelor party.
Yep.
I feel
He
like
was like I'm catching up, and then every time there's a new one, I listen to that one.
There you go.
I'm like, yeah.
Johnny boy.
I feel like if he really did listen to it, though, he would ask more questions about why we are the way we are.
He's known us long enough. He knows.
Think so?
Yeah.
I feel like he just met. We've just started talking, becoming closer as friends.
Sometimes you don't want to know more about someone. You're just like, wow, that's them.
Just appreciate them from afar.
Yeah. That's what I do.
For better or worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So before we jump into all of our spooky topics, we're gonna ease into it a little bit because we've been coming in hot.
This is a spooky topic.
We're gonna pump the brakes.
It's an easy one though.
It's an easy, David. It's an easy one.
At least I think
Not if these signs prove true.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna find that out together.
We're gonna solve the mystery of how to tell if your house is haunted. Do you have a visitor? So
Is someone there?
is someone there,
Are they knocking on your door? No, they're knocking on your head.
or is it just David playing pranks?
Yet again.
Did I do that to you guys?
No.
David, you've done everything.
All right. Are we just gonna?
We're gonna
You
go
wanna
down
lead
this
us?
list.
Yeah.
You wanna lead this?
No, you guys can lead this. The
All right,
family handyman. I'll do the intro. and then hand it over to you guys. God, Jesus.
That's so hard.
He told me to go for it. I listened and I was wrong.
Why does he stop us?
I'm so confused.
He stops us midway through a sentence. He's such an asshole.
All right, lead
Matt's
us.
face was like, wait, what?
Lead us in, big guy.
I can't. Just go.
How to know if your house is haunted?
By Julia K. Porter. Halloween's among us.
Upon us.
Dalton, like, what are some signs? Like, what do you think, bro? Before
For
there's
me-
there's 10 of them.
If I were to give my first, like, I'll do my first first 5 initial signs. I'd say the first sign you'll have.
The first sign, you see them. Second sign, they tell me that they're there. Hey, man, I'm here.
Nah, I'm here.
Hey, big ghost over here. Ooh.
It's not even that funny.
Oh, shit. All right, I think we're good. All right, 5.
How to know if your house is haunted? Okay, the first thing that you'll notice, you'll find yourself naturally looking at certain parts of a room. When you walk into a room, normally for me, it goes visual first. So I'll start to find myself looking at a certain point of the wall or a certain corner where there's just, for some reason, there's some type of energy over there that I'm resonating with. Sign number 2 is when you start feeling like uncomfortable, like you're being watched. You start like it just, the energy is increasing. So you start to feel a little bit more unsettled, right? Number 3, you start getting some form of electrical abuse where it's like the lights turning on and off, or they're like, you know, like something's not working, like the fire alarm's going off. What the fuck? What? You never heard of electrical abuse?
No.
I don't think that's an actual
It's
thing.
not.
What is it? Electrical
Just imagine you just walking, lightning strikes you. Whoopah! You're fucking haunted again. Oh shit! This is a mess. Okay.
not spooky enough. They're all laughing. We're too
okay.
happy to be talking about
David
this.
will put the spooky sounds.
Okay,
behind
what's
us.
the electrical word I'm looking for then? The only thing I can think of is electrical abuse. I need a better
so
word.
aggressive? People are just electrified.
Worse.
Electrically infused.
Boogaloo.
When you start realizing you have an electric boogaloo in the house, you just start having like random like little power outages, I guess you could say. For me, recently I've been having a lot of issues with our electronics, our fucking toasters and all that shit just randomly going out when I'm around. So that's been kind of weird. So that's like one thing I always need to notice too. And then 4, I would say.
Oh, my fire alarm went off when I left the house the other day.
Yes. Oh, did it go off for you too?
No, just for you.
Oh yeah. So when Matthew left his house the other day, and it was just me, my parents were gone on vacation. Matthew and Mo were gone for the weekend. It was me just freaking chilling out, dog. And right when he leaves the house and goes and drives away, I watched him leave because I was waving by, and through the window they couldn't see me. And right when they leave, like I hear like like the fire alarm, the beep, and I was like, "Where is that coming from?" And I couldn't find one because we've taken a few of them out of the house just because they're annoying. So if you walk around the house, you'll notice we don't really have them because they're super sensitive fire alarms, like super like.
No, we're just really bad at making bacon. So every time we try to make bacon, it's just
so
freaking
bad.
smoke fills the house.
And it's just really annoying. So I didn't know where we had like one other one, but turns out there was one in Matthew's room, and I didn't know Matthew had one in his room. So that's not there anymore. Well, no, it is. I just turned the button off and it stopped.
Oh, nice.
But it was just weird. It was just a weird thing. For 4 and 5, 4 is always sounds. 4 is some form of a voice. Sometimes you'll hear your name being called, you know. And then 5 is shadow figures at night. You'll think you're just seeing things, but sometimes it's like the real thing. Just kind of depends. You know, you gotta play it smart and feel your feelings. But if you don't want to do those things, you probably won't see it. It's interesting. It's not fun either.
How many of your 5 overlap that?
Probably most of them. I believe with the eye fixation thing, you just feel pulled to a certain, like, not even necessarily like you see something, but like your eyes will rest on an area and you won't really know why. That, and then another thing too is like you start hearing weird noises around the house. Like random things will start to just like, you'll hear closing, something will close. I've actually never experienced footsteps.
Oh man.
So I know that's pretty common though. I know you hear that quite a bit. Voices are a thing. Definitely have heard that. Whether that's a ghost or they're just in my head, I don't know, but I definitely know that's a thing. But another one is just like temperature changes. Like if there's like severe temperature changes, like all of a sudden you just get like a cold breeze, but all the windows are closed. It'll get really cold or you'll get really hot. Like one of the two. I've experienced both. And then if you have pets and
that's the worst.
They are fixated on something or they are afraid of a specific area or room of your house.
Yeah.
It's usually not the best sign.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst one. Because it's you, like, you know, and it's creepy. And like getting dogs involved, just don't get the dogs involved, man.
How long does it have to be a continuous thing with your pet to know it's not just some fluke that your pet's staring at one corner?
If somebody comes by and they ask about it, and then your response is, "Yeah, they've been doing that. I don't know why." That should let that now trigger. Or if they come over and you're like, "Oh yeah, they don't really like to go in there anymore." If you use those comments at all, something's going on.
Something's happening. Something's racking in that brain of yours. You know what I mean? It's a little spooky.
Yeah. But let's see how many of those we nailed in this article. Number 1.
This is from the Family Handyman.
Oh wow.
So
This would be the person that knows some things.
yeah.
Obviously.
Number 1. You're hearing weird sounds.
Boom. One
on
for the
there.
boys.
Bingo.
Although it could be your house settling or noisy neighbors.
What the fuck does that mean about a fucking house settling? I think that's fucking bullshit.
It's like when the temperature changes, like the wood in your house, like if you have hardwood floors, it like expands and contracts. I don't know, but I feel like the fridge ice machine is something we've all experienced, or we'll be sitting down watching a scary movie, and then on cue,
yes.
the ice will start to fall, and you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
you think something's going on?
Ice machine's a dick.
Or the AC turns on. Or drafts in your house.
The AC turns on and that freaks you out?
Sometimes.
Really?
Or like drafts. Like we have since
Drafts are creepy.
Since my parents have two stories, like the wind gets caught up there. It'll open and close doors upstairs.
Oh, that happens to my dad's door all the
Always
time.
the worst.
Because he leaves his window open and like vacuum. It's like a vacuum suction. And he'll be sitting there, and then my dad's door will go wham, because it's just like it gets fucking windy out here. The second one is that things aren't always where you left them.
Yeah. I wouldn't count that as much of as a ghost as more of a gnome in your house, but
Wait, you skipped the second sentence of if you hear weird noises in your house.
would say that.
Do a little research to see if someone died in your home.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely research
Just
that.
a pretty extreme step if you're hearing weird sounds.
And if you're
Weird sounds. Someone died
if you're buying a house or renting, if it's been after like 3 years, they don't have to tell you that somebody actually died in your house. Listen to last year's episodes. You'll find out all about all that fun that our mother got to have.
What were the two things? What was the thing you guys both saw?
We're gonna say
Oh,
right
it's
now.
the next one? Okay. So wait, things aren't always where you left them.
Yep. You find ectoplasm in your house. Not unlike the slime in Ghostbusters, ectoplasm is a repulsive slimy substance thought to be left by ghosts, particularly when they are being contacted by a medium.
Why'd you say it
What
like
was
that?
that?
Why'd you say it like that?
Contacted?
Contacted?
Contacted? I don't know. I've never even heard of that. And yeah, all right.
That's two that you guys didn't have on your list.
That's two, but we did have your pets are behaving strangely.
That's a good one.
You have random cold spots in your house.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, 3?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you're being touched. Ooh.
No, this is interesting. I have felt something sit on my bed before. I have felt something poke my butt before. And I have felt something play with my hair. Now the hair one was very much like a fucking no.
Like recently, because you've only had long hair for a little while.
It was maybe sometime like last year.
Okay.
I was asleep, and I thought it was my mom. I was like, mom, and like turned around, and nothing was there, and like my hair like was still kind of up. And when I turned, like it dropped, and I was like, then I went back to sleep.
I thought you just said that was a big no.
Yeah,
But you just went back to sleep.
I wasn't gonna let it keep me up. I was tired.
You hear mysterious voices, wailing, etc. Oh, that's not it. That's sponsored content.
Alexis, come on now.
You see strange shadows.
Yeah, shadows are common.
Your house has a spooky history.
Yes, it can be. Amen.
And last but not least, you get a vibe.
Sometimes you just know, you know?
You know yourself and your surroundings. So if you feel like there may be ghosts lurking, there just might be.
Trust yourself, man.
Yeah, trust your
Everybody
gut.
has good intuition if you can trust it.
Do you think houses also have their own energies, like it says here at the bottom?
Yeah.
It may not be haunted; it just has an energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what does that mean if it's got a negative energy?
A lot of times negative acts have been associated with that house or have been done there. So
Without necessarily meaning that
like
it
there's
was-
nothing like just lurking there. It's
Yeah.
just more of like the energy that was left there from the activities that happened are still there.
And I feel like it's not to say that it can't go away, but it's going to take a very long time and a lot of like energy put towards that one thing for it to go away.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So if any of those, if I'm describing your house, fun fact, go get it checked.
Yeah, go get one of these mediums.
Yeah.
On
Just don't
whatever,
get
whatever the fuck.
don't get a clairvoyant candy bar, and you'll be all right.
Yeah, just don't ask her anything. I think my girl was, what was her name? Desiree? I think her name was Desiree. Yeah, go get Desiree to read your house for you and see what your house loves.
All right. Well, before this episode, we got to sit down and we got to jump into a scary movie of the week.
And this week was a psychological horror movie. I told David to fuck us up. I was like, just fucking fuck us up. He said, okay, do you want to be fucked up for the person or fucked up for you? And I was like, me, of
like
course.
the characters' minds
yeah.
get fucked up in a psychological horror, or you, the viewer's mind.
Yeah. And I was like, I wanted to get like fucked, you know? So he made us watch this movie that came out in 2014.
This is a big year for Scotland.
Big year for Scotland. Big year. And it's called Under the Skin. And it's with Scarlett Johansson.
Yes, it is.
And
I have no idea what the fuck happened in that
there's
movie.
not even like...
I don't think I was psychologically fucked. I was just psychologically confused, which I don't know if that means you accomplished your mission or if I just didn't understand it. Because I don't think I'll have a hard time sleeping tonight. I'll just not think about it because I don't understand it.
So I'm just going to give out my spiel.
Let's have it, dude.
This is exactly what I think happened in the movie.
Oh, hold on. This is 2014, so a lot of spoilers are about to happen.
Because we're gonna try and figure out what
We're
happened in this movie.
gonna have open dialogue about this movie. So if you haven't seen it, you want to see it, skip until you don't hear Dalton start talking about the fact that he saw Scarlett Johansson naked, and then you should be good if that's done.
Yeah, no, that was pretty cool too. Those are cool scenes. So Under the Skin, it starts out with Scarlett Johansson like killing some bitch, taking her clothes and wearing it out, right? And she goes and does her thing, and she's like constantly looking for victims, and these victims are whatever men are alone, don't know anybody, just got there or on vacation, and she will take them on a trip or take them in the van, and you know they're always entranced by Scarlett Johansson's eyes because she has great eyes, you know. So they're like always talk about her eyes, and then you know they're like just in a trance
In a trance
of love, like towards her, right? And so they get to this really freaking creepy ass house, and they walk in, and she starts walking backwards while she's undressing, and you know the men are undressing too, trying to like get to her, and walking and walking and walking, and then all of a sudden, like you see the levels of him and her like start to change, and the male starts going lower and lower, like he's sinking, I guess. I don't really know what he was sinking into, but it kind of seemed like he was sinking into like what Matthew said was like kind of like a womb of some sort, and it would take away its like life source pretty much, and it would just become flappy skin that would just lay in there. It looked really gross. And then later on you start to see more and more of her house, and her house is just fucked up. It's just gross looking inside, and it's kind of like the person, like the human doesn't know how to be human. Like the aspects of what would matter for a person doesn't matter for her, and you slowly start to see her develop that she can't eat food. She doesn't eat any food. You know, she can't have sex, and it's like all these like human capabilities that she's wanting to have, but she can't have them at all. So she starts to figure out that maybe she's not human, but she wants to be human. So there's like this internal battle with very little words. By the way, she doesn't really talk. I don't think she had one. No, she had lines, but it wasn't like, it was like at one point everything just shut off. Like it was pure silence for like 30-40 minutes. And it kind of just makes you continually think about what is going on in her head. Like why is she acting this way, but then doesn't know how to like interact with the human when it's not on her terms. When she's not in her van, she interacts very weirdly. You know, she's not in a comforted space, but then she does sometimes. Like it's just like these weird moments where she could be human so easily, but then when it shuts off hard, and like she can't interact socially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was thinking that this kind of represents that she doesn't know who she is anymore. So she's going on this kind of like self-discovery type thing. But what I think happens is there's an alien that is inside the body, as we see, right? I think that is an alien. I think the alien would consume the bodies, and it would ingest it, and then it would hibernate. So I think the alien would hibernate, and then she was able to start to figure out herself. Like she was like a newborn pretty much, like figuring things out, learning how things worked in the real world. But when it would wake up because it was hungry again, it would take anything that she had of joy and it would consume it. And so it was like just a constant circle. And then once it realized that it couldn't control her and it wasn't going to serve him anymore or serve her anymore or whatever the fuck it was, it just took it off like a jacket. I don't know. That's kind of my thing. I feel like it's just like is it a really fucked up demon or like a alien?
Yeah. Like in the beginning, like her questions were very awkward. Like they were very direct. Like there wasn't a lot of like small talk or like, you know, like playful banter. It was very much like, are you alone? Oh, so you're by yourself. And it'd be like a very direct question followed up with like a very playful way to get more information. Like, oh, like, so, you know, your girlfriend isn't around? And we'd, no, I don't have a girlfriend. Then it would immediately cut back to, oh, so you're by yourself. Oh, you live by your, like, it's just very, like, if anybody were to ask me those things, like, I'd probably be like, why do you want to know all this information? You know?
Well, that's where I don't know if you guys caught it, but near the end when she's in the forest and she's walking through,
the guy started asking her those questions.
Those same exact types of questions.
And the guy ended up being a predator, right? And so it's like that's exactly what I thought. I was like, oh, like now she's getting asked those questions and she doesn't like it. And then when she would go back to the house, she would be walking backwards, like Dalton said, and it was kind of like they were walking. You know, like it's like if you were to walk into a lake or an ocean. Like as you walk in, you slowly start to sink deeper and deeper and deeper, but they couldn't get out. And then when they would get under there, they would basically, like Dalton said, their soul would disappear, and they would just become like skin. and then all of a sudden like they would go down some like blood chamber and get flushed out or some shit. But it was like, oh, that makes sense.
What?
That she would like flush it out, like when she actually like used the bathroom. Like, is that when it would happen?
Oh, you're talking about that one sequence where it's just like the meat traveling.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
all the internal organs and bones
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
going down the drain.
But what I didn't get was following this lady the whole time was this guy on a motorcycle that just
I don't have any answers for that one. I don't
just
know.
cleaned up her mess, like cleaned up any trace of anything going on, and then frantically was trying to search for her when she was gone. Like at one point she just, goes rogue. And
Well, there's something that happens that makes her go rogue.
so she picks up this guy because like I'm assuming that she needed to eat these people for food because you don't see her. There's only one scene throughout the entire movie. You see her actually eat something other than these individuals, right? So she picks up this guy on the side of the road. The guy gets in. He has his hoodie on and is not, you can just tell, isn't interested in whatever. Like one-worded answers, doesn't want any dialogue. He takes his hood off. His face is all deformed. He has like elephantitis or something, right? Just all jacked up. And she starts to compliment him and give him attention and finds out, starts asking questions. Are you alone? Do you have a girlfriend? Blah, 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 blah. And so she's like, then she's, kind of goes off script and she's like, well, when's the last time like you've like had human touch? And he goes, never or whatever, right? So she grabs his hand and then lets him touch her face, then lures him back to the house, right? Where we're assuming that she's gonna, do the same thing she did with everyone else. But then what ends up happening is she starts to, but then all of a sudden the scene cuts to him leaving the house.
After she's been looking in the mirror.
Yeah, so then she comes down and she has this like moment of like self-awareness, right? And then it seems like even in the conversation when she was talking to him, where he started to kind of like express, like you could tell that this was somebody that was outcasted from society just based off of his appearance, right? Like he was born that way. It was a birth defect, if you want to call it that. Like he looked so incredibly different than everybody else. And that he just got, he's had a rough life. There's no way that guy hasn't. And just through those interactions compared to all the other people that she's normally, without even having a second thought, lured in, ate them, whatever, right? This one was different, where you see her start to feel empathy. You see her start to think about somebody other than herself and her, primal needs. So then when she lets him go, even though she doesn't give the poor guy his clothes back and he's running around these fields, like a naked monster, running around, she goes on this, like Dalton said, this self-discovery journey. She stares at herself in the mirror and you can tell she's having this like existential crisis. Like, who am I? Am I the skin? Am I the person underneath? Am I the person that's thinking my thoughts? Like, am I the person observing me thinking my thoughts? You can see her going through these moments of that. Then she like leaves, starts walking randomly, tries to eat cake, spits it all up because she doesn't like the taste of it.
Or I don't know if she could even.
Yeah.
She could even, yeah.
Swallow it. You know what I mean? Like, does she have like a digestive system? Like, who knows? Yeah, and then at one point she meets up with a guy and, seems to actually feel like some type of romantic connection to the dude. And, they start making out and hooking up, and turns out that there's no entryway for further activities and that it's just like a closed vessel. So then I didn't piece that together. I had no idea what the heck was happening. And you see that she had never even thought about that before because she stops and like starts to inspect and she's like, oh shoot, like she just gets her stuff and runs away. Mm-hmm. And then at the very end, like the meat suit comes off and you see the entity for what it is. And like I said, I'm not like, I don't think I'll dream about it tonight. Like, I don't think I'll be scared of it, but I just am more like confused.
I want to know what the fuck the guy was doing.
Yeah. Like,
I want to know why he was so involved.
Because there's
At the end? Oh, the motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
Because there's that one scene where like he's obviously in the house, right?
Yeah.
He's like in the house with her and he's like walking around like inspecting her, like looking her up and down and all this stuff. And she's sitting there and you can just tell she's going to do whatever this guy says. And then he leaves. It's like, who is that guy? And then when she disappears, he has like 4 different, people on motorcycles that all go to look for her.
Apparently they're all racers, man. They went so fast.
Yeah.
He's the one that brings the initial girl to her, too,
Yeah.
when they get the clothes. So,
Good movie. I mean, it was all right.
like I said, it's a movie you'd probably never, ever watch otherwise.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
What's our movie for next week, David? Do you know?
well, next week I've got it up. I've got a couple options that you guys can choose from because I just don't know what you guys have seen. It's supernatural horror is the next option. So the movies I have are
Twilight.
Ouija, Origin of Evil, Cabin in the Woods.
I've seen that one.
I've seen that one.
You have seen that one? And what was the third one? You know, it might just be Origin of Evil if you guys haven't seen that one. Because everything else is even older than that.
Dope. Let's do it.
So I have a question.
What's up?
I feel like we're gonna go off on a tangent for this, but I'm gonna do it anyways.
Let's do it.
So there was one time David was here for it. Me, Monique, and David were playing this very creepy indie game.
Oh, yeah.
What was it
Anna.
called? Anna. Yes, it's like an indie game for the PlayStation. And later on into the game, you start to complete these like satanic rituals in order to get like further on into the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, if you were to do something like that in a video game, like say,
Oh, if you were to do like a full, like written out ritual that was pulled from real Latin texts or whatever.
yes, if you were to do like a ritual in a video game like that, like, is it possible that it transmutes out of the television or the game into real life?
I think my first thought of that is like, I know why you said that. I've had that thought quite often. But the reason why I don't think it's true is because the intent isn't there. The intention is so important when you're doing something like that, where if the intention is for the entertainment factor, you're not going to get what you want. But if the intention is purely for the aspect of getting this thing to work or getting this entity to come out, when you have that intention and it's all in, that's when you get the most out of that type of ritual, right?
Yeah.
So what my thought is, if there's not a lot of energy going in, there's no energy going out.
Because like, you know, you hear about a lot of times where like, you know, these like big like events like the Emmys, Grammys, whatever, like, you know, the Illuminati are using them for their rituals because it has to be done in public, right? Like, what if that's also the same for video games? Like, what if there's some people that are out there that are like, yeah, like I'm, you know, this, you know, individual that, you know, I follow this belief system and I know that this needs to be done. They make it the virtual, which if the creator's intent in it is, you know, intentional, and then they mass produce it to so many people, like it's a way to spread something kind of like a virus, especially if it's in like a popular video game.
Isn't that like The Ring?
I've never seen that.
Oh, you never seen The Ring?
So I don't know.
I think I've seen
Oh, maybe we should watch that instead.
Is that the one with the phone?
So the one with the VHS, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I guess it is kind of like I know the premise of it, but I've never seen it.
It's good. I like that one.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like The Ring.
But yeah, I thought about that when we were playing it that night, because later on it gets like really dark, like it gets fucking intense. And I just remember I didn't even finish it. I told Monique, I was like, nah, like my brain's thinking too much. Like it's causing me to question if I do this here, is this shit gonna start popping out of the screen and like into here? Like my brain just took off. So I was like, nope, we're going.
Do it and see.
Fuck no.
You got to think, if everyone else has played this game, why would it only happen to you?
Who knows? I don't want to be the one.
That's how every horror movie starts.
Just look at the ratio there. If it's a game that's going out to the world, it would have been. You could easily research it on YouTube. Be like, does this ritual work on here? Then if you see lights like flickering on and off in the video, then you know not to do it.
Yep.
Who knows?
Who knows?
That is a good question, though. I like that question.
All right, well, we got our signature segment to close this bad boy out on.
1, 2, 3. Is it canon, bro?
And this week's Is It Canon, Bro? Is Succubus. And I guess Incubus. And the entity known as the Hag.
All right. So first thing what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is that we're going to have David look it up.
Yeah, because I don't know what.
You guys don't know succubus?
I feel like I know it, but I'd rather have the true definition of it.
What's your idea? What do you think it is?
What I think of the hag is from The Witcher.
Uh-huh.
And all I know about the hag is it's like this little half raven, half human looking thing, fucking creepy as hell. But it can draw you in with its with its type of like can change form, right? So it could turn into like this beautiful lady, and it draws you in, and then it eats you alive in it when you're in its home. That's what I think of the hag is.
Okay.
That's also what I think the hag is.
Because he also played The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
So not quite.
Okay, thank you.
So a night hag and a succubus, they're a little bit different. A night hag or an old hag is the name given to a supernatural creature usually associated with sleep paralysis. And so the idea is that when you wake up with sleep paralysis, you're like, you feel like something's just on you, holding you down and keeping you in place. And so in older times, that was manifested as the night, like you wake up and the night hag would be sitting on your chest, keeping you immobilized, and that was what was causing your sleep paralysis. Was her, and that's actually where the term nightmare comes from. But
Pretty cool.
A succubus is a demon or a supernatural entity that is in female form that appears in dreams to seduce men.
Oh.
And from there, it bleeds you dry of your energy.
Because all you could think about is this succubus.
No, like through the act, like because it's coming to you in your dreams.
So you're never resting.
So then you have sex, and then you give away your energy force or your life force.
Yes. Yes.
That's aggressive.
I
The hag is interesting.
And Lilith is actually, what is it from? It's from Jewish faith. Is the mother of all succubus.
Her name's
Succubi
Lilith.
was Lilith, Adam's first wife, created
Whoa.
completely equal to Adam.
nice. Good for you,
Adam,
Lilith.
playa.
And she just rejected the idea of like not being fully equal, and so she got like banished, and basically was like, your curse for not going along with this is that you will lose 100 children. You will give birth and lose 100 children every single day. So like her goal is to have children that survive, and so in order for that to happen,
So she needs to be a part of 101 sex dreams.
at least 101. Yes.
Wow.
Damn, what a life.
Okay,
So
I did not know any
there
of that.
is there is like a I don't know if it's biblical, but there is an
Either way, it's fucked up.
religious origin to this.
I'm gonna go with canon on this one. For both.
For both.
For both.
Why?
'Cause,
Let's start with Night Hag.
night hag, sleep paralysis. There's definitely like truth to it, and I think that if you've ever experienced it, you understand that like there's a feeling of something holding you down when you wake up.
Or laughing. There's always laughter.
I've never had that.
Oh, really?
But as to what it is, like I think that changes over time. Like I think it's always something that you don't understand. It's usually is like dark in feeling. But I think that we just describe it differently as time goes on. And I think that just has a lot to do with like children's stories that we grew up with, and you know, the folklore that surrounds us now is very different from back in the day. And the succubus, I think dreams are fascinating to me. Dreams are interesting because I think we don't understand it. And I think that there is a lot of activity that happens in our dreams that cause us to not actually get rest. Because like your mind is still active, your mind is still going, but also too, like, I just think that there's a lot out there. There's a lot of things that, you know, can come to us in dreams and cause us to our body to physically respond. So if we're experiencing and having these physical responses, you're not actually resting. And I can totally see it being true. So I'm gonna go with canon.
I'm gonna go with not canon, just because I do believe that there's a succubus type energy, but there's not a succubus alone, if you know what I mean. Like there's not just a succubus. Like you're not just you can cast maybe like a spell, like some type of love spell where they can't stop thinking about you, and then they like to think about having sex with you in their dreams and stuff, and they're all into you, so that means they love you more when they see you. I think that's like something that maybe could happen, but I don't think like an actual succubus is a real thing. The night hag is just sleep paralysis, and I think we just need to give it something to scare people. So I think that's why they chose the hag, but I don't think it's real either. So I'm gonna go not canon for both of them.
So you don't see the succubus as a potential demon
No.
that infiltrates your dreams.
No.
And the other thing was like they take your sperm in order to create their own offspring and create more demons.
I mean, if I had little demon Daltons running around, I feel like that'd be pretty fucking cool. But other than that, no.
Really?
No, I don't believe in it.
Very
It doesn't make sense to me.
Why?
I just don't see how having like sex in your head can cause a physical response. Like it has to cause a physical response. And like yeah, it's also energies like going to and fro, right? But at the same time, like you're still resting, you're not in a state to give. And like when you're dreaming, it's all for your conscience. It's all for you. It's everything that you've seen throughout the day, throughout your life that comes in one moment and gives it to you. So I just don't see that as being taken away.
All right.
Just a little bit of me there.
All right. Another not together canon.
I'm starting to disagree
Very
here.
interesting. You guys have been pretty on point with each other for like the past month and a half.
Yeah, very
So,
true.
well, what a way to go out with episode 99.
What a way. It's a pre-existing injury. Why was I thinking about that?
What?
Did we talk about that earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's why I was thinking about it.
What?
Well, when we fell in San Diego and
Oh,
you told
yeah.
the whole crowd, you're like, this is a pre-existing injury. Oh, my God.
All right, and made it this far into the podcast. Thank you so much for your time. Go ahead and leave us a 5-star rating and a review wherever you're listening to this. We'd appreciate that. And if you're here on YouTube, go ahead and click the subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon in the corner. And stay tuned because next week is week 100.
Week 100,
We
guys.
did it.
That's 100
We
episodes.
made
That's
it.
100.5 episodes.
100.5 episodes.
100.5.
Technically 101 because we had another bonus episode too. We had
Yeah.
1/2 episode and we had one bonus episode.
Yeah, but those don't count. So
Those
don't
don't
worry
count.
about them.
When we have to watch the video of like the year anniversary of when we started recording just to see how much more exhausted we look now from when we first started recording and putting it on YouTube.
Oh, like episode 53?
Yeah.
I'm down.
But anyways, as always, everybody stay safe, stay spooky. Until next week, I'm Drumm.
And I'm Drummer.
We'll see you guys then. Bye.